So people hate DS9, and I don't agree. A lot of people will tell you they hate DS9, and you know what they'll say? You know why? You know why everybody? The most common answer to why people say they hate the show, because they didn't go anywhere. They were just on a space station, and they just stayed still. Well, you know what, guys? Why does it have to be, the Enterprise all the time? It's like such a recurring theme. It's getting a little tired. There are space stations in that universe too. It was about time that a story happened on one. So I remember being in like 7th, 8th grade, when DS9 first aired, and I was like so excited that it was going to be a different concept. It wasn't the same old traveling around, meeting, new life and shit. So I was really happy that it was kind of a different format. But eventually the viewers won, and they had to introduce the USS Defiant so they could go places. Although they never really met many new cultures. That wasn't the idea behind DS9. I love DS9. It would be pretty hard for me to choose between Next Generation and DS9. Because, when I rewatched all 8 seasons of Next Gen, there were a lot of episodes that I skipped because I'd seen them recently, or I remembered them, I remembered that they were just shit episodes. But, I'm to the last 2 episodes of DS9 right now. In fact, if you look at my screen here, you can see that I am, watching one right now. In fact, this is the second to the last episode, I believe. So I am almost through with DS9, and if you want to know what my biggest problem, because there's not really anything else to talk about as far as technology goes. It's all the same technology as in Next Generation. The last season of Next Gen and the first season of DS9 were running at the same time, so it's all the same technology. They went through a couple uniform changes and stuff like that, but, same phasers, same everything. Except all of the technology on DS9 is Cardassian, so the computers on DS9 look a little different, but they also introduced runabouts, which were kind of bigger than a shuttlecraft. But my biggest problem with DS9 is it got so religious. It was a really religious show, but the characters had time to develop. This might be the overall best Star Trek series for character development, because they weren't so, I gotta stand up, my ass is hurting. They weren't so involved in war all the time, and, their characters had a chance to grow. They also had a couple really interesting characters like Odo, and although Odo got a little tiring after a while. But Garrick, the last Cardassian on DS9, was like a great character. I was really, really interested in, his storyline for a long time. Ben Sisko, even the captain, like, he was a different kind of guy. He wasn't an old guy. He was a family man. He was a widower. He lost his wife, had a young son, Jake. A lot of people hated their relationship, and it did get a little bit corny at times. But when Jake got older, it got a little better. DS9 was simply too religious. I am no longer a religious person. I can stand a little bit of religion in my TV shows and stuff, but, every episode of DS9, emissary, prophets, wormhole aliens, oh, the prophets will do this, oh, the prophets will do that, oh, the emissary is here, blah, 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 that I got a little tired of. The Klingons, though, were a big part of DS9. That was cool. And the Ramis even got a little exposure at the end there, kind of around the same time they were getting exposure on Next Gen. But if you can just overcome the concept of interplanetary travel with DS9 and enjoy some great story and great character development, It's well worth watching. It's kind of a long watch, 7 seasons. But, hey, give it a shot.